Carved from unfamiliar metal in an alien style, this mysterious object yet glows with a pulsating inner light that is familiar to you. The unmistakable brilliance of Source.
What was that? Magisters. What are they up to?
He was a saboteur and paid the price. Do you want to meet the same end as he did?
No, madam. I'll get a replacement here right away.
Are about to become popcorn? Good.
us by.
Magister wipes his blooded face with a grimy rag as he strides towards you. Eyes narrowing with suspicion, he halts several feet away, one hand on the hilt of his weapon.
And you are? Really?
His face creases up in thought as he surveys the carnage all around. Turning back to look at you again, he shakes his head.
Wait a minute. This is all just a little too convenient. I'm betting you're the reason these Voidwoken are here at all. Sorcerer!
Folding his arms across his chest, the Magister stares at you with baleful eyes. One by one, he points at the dead Voidwoken, the dead Magisters, the dead Silent Watchers. Then, he points at you.
Your end comes, sorcerer, just as it came for them and for me. Freedoman guided the excavation rightly. Soon, Dallas will use the Aetheran on you. And then you will be the sorcerer no longer.
He says nothing, only twists his lip bitterly as he echoes, pointing at the dead. Pointing at the dead, then pointing at you. The spirit's memory, in its madness, dances in your mind. You are a sensate, deaf and mute, but gifted with an unnatural ability. Dallas seeks you out and brings you here into the darkness. When the blindfold falls, Dallas bids you find and free a secret power. You close your eyes, and you feel the presence of a hidden truth. You point at it and open your eyes. You are pointing at Dallas. The hammer calmly bids you try again, then steps back into the shadows. You close your eyes once more. Now the vault before you sings to you. You raise your hand to it. It opens to your touch. From the vault, you take a sword. It's weightless, yet it feels extremely powerful. More powerful even than Dallas herself, and yet fragile. A hand falls upon your shoulder. A blade crosses your throat. Blood pours. Dallas whispers, "Good girl," and then all goes quickly dark.
The Aetheran. What an incredible discovery.
The pedestal seems empty, as if it once supported something powerful. You surmise that this was once the resting place of the Aetheran, until it was torn free and borne away. If this is what Dallas was looking for, then she has claimed her prize.
This must be where the Magisters found the Aetheran.
Over there, on the tables. Those are my people's tablets.
The unusual tablet is marked on all sides with runic inscriptions that look like they were hacked into indecipherability with a chisel or similar instrument. As your fingertips trace these mutilated runes, your eyes flicker closed of their own accord. You see nothingness, vast, dark, and empty. You sense something ancient watching you, perusing you like a prison guard would watch a wayward ant scuttling across the floor of a cell. From within the endless emptiness, a voice hums into being and calls to you, God-woken. You sense an interest within the cold voice addressing you. Beyond the interest, you sense fangs, voracious hunger, a bottomless appetite that no sustenance could ever sate. You see your life flash before your eyes, every memory flitting by like a moth's wings at a lantern. The vision reaches the present moment and diverges into multiple strands, impossible to keep track of. Your brain aches with the effort of trying to keep up with the intelligence as it sifts through your every potential future. You see salvation and destruction and every shade of existence in between. And all of a sudden, it's over. Blackness rises once more, just as it was at the start. Eternal darkness and you. An electric feeling pulses in your fingertips, and a force field of some kind pushes you away from the tablet.
That was some kind of test. I'm really not sure whether I passed or failed.
The tablet is marked on all sides with eternal runic inscriptions. As your fingertips trace these mutilated runes, your eyes flicker closed of their own accord. You see nothingness, vast. You sense something ancient watching you, perusing you like a prison guard would watch. From within the endless emptiness, a strangely familiar voice hums into being and calls to you. God-woken. Fane. You sense an interest within the cold voice addressing you. Beyond the interest, you sense fangs, voracious hunger, you see your life flash before your eyes, every memory flitting by like a moth's wings at a lantern. Your brain aches with the effort of trying to keep up with the intelligence, and all of a sudden, it's over. An electric feeling pulses in your fingertips, and a force field of some kind The little rat squeaks up at you inquisitively, beady little eyes full of something approximating intelligence.
Are you a poet? Do you know it? Do I show it? I write a rhyme in my spare time. It's about a bird, but I need a word.
He eyes you shrewdly, then sniffs with judgment.
Not what I was looking for. Now I'll bid you good day, boar.
The little rat squeaks up at you inquisitively, beady little...
Are you a poet? I write a rhyme in my spare time. It's about a bird, but I need a word.
He eyes you shrewdly.
Not what I was looking...
The little rat.
Are you a poet? I write a rhyme in my spare time. It's about a bird, but I need a word.
He eyes you shrewdly.
Not what I...
The little rat squeaks.
Are you a poet? I write a rhyme.
The little rat squeaks up at you.
Are you a I write a rhyme in my spare...
He eyes you shrewd.
Not what I was...
The little rat squeaks.
Are you a I write a rhyme in my spare...
He eyes you shrewdly.
Not what I...
The tablet seems to glow from within with a subtle light. Etched runes cover its surface. The markings feel familiar, but you have no idea what they mean. Your fingertips burn so hot, it feels like they are melting. An energy seems to travel between the tablet and your hands, sparking knowledge directly into your mind, as if you're reading with your fingers. Electrical sensations sizzle in your mind. You understand that the runes are ancient Rivalonian, the oldest known language. You feel the fragments under your fingers. An Lesru. You know not how, but you understand the meaning of these words with the very marrow of your being. One. One must rise. Then your fingers grow cold to the bone. Suddenly, you are just a person standing in a cavern, clinging to a stone tablet as if it were a life raft. The crystalline artifact is both beautiful and robust, as pure as glass and as immutable as iron. The tablet looks the same, but you cannot touch it. An invisible force field of some kind prevents you from touching the mutilated runes again.
Just when I think this land holds no more still. At least this is an interesting How many times must I tell you? I have business in the Black Pits. We should head to the excavation site there.
The pedestal seems empty. If this is what Your fingertips burn so hot. Looking down at the tablet, you feel the words inscribed there etched into your... You feel a connection pulsing from the stone, a tether stretching back millennia. You hear nothing, but you can feel the screams. Then your fingers grow cold to the bone. Suddenly, you are just a person standing in a cavern, clinging to a stone tablet as if it were a life raft. The little rat squeaks up at you inquisitively.
Are you a poet? I write a rhyme in my spare time. It's about a bird, but I need a word.
He eyes you shrewdly.
Not what I was looking...
The little rat squeaks up at you.
Are you a poet? I write a rhyme in my spare time.
The little rat squeaks up at you.
Are you a poet? I write a rhyme in my spare time. It's about a bird.
He eyes you shrewdly.
Not what I was looking...
The little rat squeaks up at you
Are you a poet? I write a rhyme in my spare...
He eyes you
Not what I was looking...
I tried to warn them, but would they listen? I'm no canary, but I know bad news when I see it. And what do I get? Lying dead in a cage. Bugger 'em all.
I've never seen anything like this workmanship.
The stone relic pulls on your consciousness. You feel the tendrils of an ancient hunger trespassing within your soul, seeking something, something you have. Source. As your fingertips brush the cool stone, you feel the depths of your being crack open. Your power flows from you into the relic, yet a reverse current flows back into you with a new power, a different power. A sharp, electrical shock repels your hands from the stone and sends you staggering backwards.
A recipe to craft Mask of the Shapeshifter? Well, that's disappointing.
The stone relic pulls on your consciousness. You feel the tendrils of an ancient hunger. You stare at the artifact in amazement. Even though it's broken and suffering from centuries of neglect, there's no mistaking it for what it is. Eternal technology. Looking close, you see that it may be broken, but it's not dead. Its ancient hunger calls to you. It yearns for source. The stone relic pulls on your consciousness. You stare at the artifact. Looking close, you see that it may be broken.
Hurry, she said, so I hurried, and hurried some more, tore me skin and muscles to shreds and got all but buried alive for the effort. Dallas, who do you think? She's a smart cookie, but she's gotten careless since that new advisor's been twisting her ear. Faster, we're getting close. Easy for her to say. She might be called the Hammer, but I never saw her walloping away at the rocks. I don't know exactly what it is, but I know it's called the Aetheran. Supposedly sucks the source out of anything and anyone for good. All I ever found were glowing gems and baubles, though. We'd shower the lot, and every time she'd look at that swaying shadow of a man at her side, that Vreedeman, and he'd shake his head like we'd brought them a pile of rubbish. If you ask me, he's a venomous cobra. The other Reds are taken in by his eloquence, but all I hear are silver-plated lies. Maybe. I honestly don't know. I'd bring her an armful of shimmering rocks, and she'd whisper to Mr. Creepycloak about eternal this and stuff that. I'll just wait here then.
I've spotted something.
What word will get this one contraption working again? We need more barrels to bring down this blasted wall.
Nothing yet, man. The Black Ring Captain. Exit. The only one.
He's a saboteur of paid the price.
The Magister looks you up and down with utter dispassion.
You should not be here.
The Magister slowly shakes her head. To her, that writ might as well be your death warrant.
Intruder! You shouldn't have come here before. Die!
The spirit of a white magister scowls at your presence.
Get away from me, sorcerer! Filth! You'll get nothing out of me. Nothing!
The spirit shoots you a venomous look, unimpressed by your offer.
What? No, wait. I'll tell you. We had orders to bring down the wall. They thought there was more to find beyond it. That's all I know, I swear.
Impressive. A barrel-filling machine for the oil, I believe.
From somewhere deep within the inner workings, the machine churns and it settles into a slow metallic chug. The machine churns into life. It settles into a slow... The machine churns it. The machine rattles, grinds, then settles down into a steady mechanical thrum.
It's working. Oil barrels. Not a careful excavation, it seems.
By the heavens. It's eternal. It's one of our vaults. Just when I think this land holds no more surprises, I find still. At least this is an
I've seen places like this in books. Never thought I would see something like this in reality. This is the archaeological discovery of a lifetime.
What a way to die. Down here in this darkness. Poor soul.
The curious sculpture comes alive as you reach out to touch it. It thrums with power and throws flickering, dancing shadows against the walls. The carving is covered in strange glyphs that feel oddly familiar. They surround a gently glowing stone that makes you think of the night sky rolled into a ball. Trying to read the symbols, you hear a faint whispering at the back of your mind, as if you're listening to the echoes of a past age. Your mind swims, and for a moment, the glyphs become clear. You read, "Our first lords babes with power glowed, our seconds born in blood that flowed. Our thirds young to the wind return, our fourths to glowing flames adjourn." Our fifth lord's cubs with minds were blessed. Our sixths had brawn beyond the rest. our seventh brood spread from earth to glen, and thus no king shall rise again. You try to hold your focus as the whispering echo fades, but the letters waver, contorting and merging until they're nothing but meaningless glyphs once more.
A riddle from the past. Or maybe a riddle about the past.
The sculpture is covered in strange glyphs, trying to read the symbols. Your mind swims, and you read, "Our first lord's babes with power glowed, our seconds born in blood that flowed. Our thirds young to our fifth lord's cubs with minds were blessed. Our sixths had brawn beyond our seventh's brood spread from earth." You try to hold your focus. The sculpture is covered in strange glyphs. Something shifts within the sculpture, and you're knocked back by a sudden burst of energy. The glow from the columns surrounding the barrier fades, and the room is still. The sculpture is covered in...
It's Amadia, the mother of wizards.
Dilius, worshipped by my people.
Ah, Duna, a true god, stout of heart and fierce of face.
Blessed Solstice, an elegant god for our elegant people.
Zantedza, the goddess of mirth, worshipped by imps. The god of the orcs, Vrogir. Ralik, I used to pray to you when I was young. That's it. What in the name of Lucian's prize pig is going on here? I wonder what they did in life to deserve such a resting place.
As the creature crawls from the sarcophagus, you hear a gasp of breath. Fane steps forward, never taking his eyes off her.
I must speak to her. It is vital. Please, stand aside.
You hear a gasp from the creature as Fane steps forward. It speaks in a hissing, clicking language that seems both completely alien and somewhat familiar. Fane raises his head and responds in the same jolting, clicking tongue. He seems to be pleading with the creature, his hands outstretched. The creature looks down at him and shrieks in rage. Her gestures are quick, strong, and violent. Whatever she said, it seems to have devastated your friend. The verbal barrage continues, but something changes within Fane. He looks up and golden light pours from his skull. When he speaks next, you understand every word, but you're not sure the words are his own.
Aetera, Aetera. I had hoped to see you turn to dust in this tomb. Alone, forgotten, with only your secrets for comfort.
Lady Amadia? You possess him? Have you fallen so far that you seek shelter within that? Does your vessel even know what you did? The war you started? The greed and avarice that saw you betray the Eternals?
The glow fades, and Fane seems to return to himself. He staggers slightly, exhausted by everything that's happened. The creature turns away from him and, panting, turns to you. The creature looks down from its perch, trembling. It crawled out of that sarcophagus as if it had forgotten how to move its limbs. It turns to you, and you see its face is covered by an intricate mask. From behind its unmoving lips, you hear a noise. It starts as a groaning, croaking chatter, but slowly becomes more distinct. It's speaking.
Mais Saravel te de l'arentu, Chamery?
The stream of noise cuts off abruptly. After a moment, you hear a jolting, lurching voice.
It wears the face of Ralik, but speaks the tongue of beasts. How cruel. I suspected the Seven Lords won the war after they locked me here, but seeing their faces on dumb creatures, a depressing confirmation. Gods? What is this senseless braying? The Seven Lords were Eternals, just as I am.
Deep within your soul, you feel your god stirring at the sound of the voice. You can feel its anger and fear swelling inside you. The creature leans forward to get a better look at you, clucking and tutting under her breath.
It seems to be a simple form at its core, a source vat. A walking, unfortunately talking, source vat. Fascinating. I wonder how to extract the source from the vessel without...
She pulls back suddenly, recoiling in horror.
It is rotting. Almost imperceptibly, but it decays before my eyes. It does not even have a century left.
The god within you reacts, his emotions a cocktail of fury and fear. You hear his voice, demanding that you give him control, demanding your body obey his will.
An Eternal does not answer questions from whatever creatures happen to lumber into view, especially when there is so much to be learned about their source. What happens to it, I wonder? Does it lie in whatever ditch it falls in, as its body decays? Or... no, of course. It is harvested.
The god thrashes against your control. You can feel it hissing that this creature is dangerous, that it cannot be trusted.
To have had the technology of the Eternals, and made this. How crude. Although effective in its own way. Poor creature, created for a sole purpose, and yet so ignorant of its function. It is a tool to collect source until it is ready to be collected, most likely by its creator. And given that face, I can well imagine who your creator may be. What a lazy way to feed one's power, and one's ego.
You start to speak, but it's too late. Rallic breaks free, and the voice that emerges from your mouth is not quite your own.
Aetera, you worm. An eternity locked away was too good for you. I should have seen you ground to dust and fed to the wind. Your heresies deserve nothing less.
The figure recoils, as if struck.
Rallic! What happened to you? Did you truly fall so far?
Silence! It is your king that has fallen. He and all the other eternal cowards were flung into the void. And the power you were too scared to hunt has made me a god.
And yet here you stand, small, weak, decaying. I will not even need the Aeteran to grind you into the dust.
You feel your god freeze at the mention of this Aeteran, a cold terror settling in your chest.
The beast's unruly passenger did not deign to tell it. He did not want his host to know I crafted a weapon that would leave him an Eternal once more.
You feel your god thrashing against your control. Where? You croak in a voice not quite your own.
Ha! Of course you never found it. You always lacked imagination, Lord Rallic. I hid it in these very caves, although I can feel its distance now. Someone has uncovered it. Perhaps they intend to flay the godliness from you. No matter. Given your pathetic state, it is mine to collect at my leisure. As for you, you monstrosity, you were designed to be defective. You were built to die. And I rather think it is time you fulfilled your function. But do not fear. I shall put your source to good use.